I have an 89 C-Ray with a 4.3 Mercruiser motor in it. I'm going to tune up the motor, put spark plugs in it, wires, cap, rotor, and I'll show you what's involved with doing it. So you're going to want to start by taking the cover off the top of the motor. And my end is 11 millimeter. This will give you some room to get at the distributor cap and stuff. There you go. Basically, the way I like doing these is one at a time. So I've got the old distributor cap here in place with all the old wires, and I'm gonna change one spark plug, one wire at a time so we don't mix them up. Then I'll reconnect the new spark plug wire back in the position that it came out of, and then at the end, we can put the new cap on, rotor and stuff like that. But the plugs are kind of tucked up under the manifolds. Let's see if you can see in there. They're right here. So I took this hose right here out of my way, and it was connected right there to that pipe coming out. It was a 5/16 socket, loosened up the band clamp, moved that out of my way, and that should give me a little bit more clearance to get the spark plugs in there. So I have a 5/8 spark plug socket, and I have a 1/2-inch ratchet and a little extension on it, and I was able to pull the spark plug boot right off there. I was able to reach my hand up and off under there, and it came off pretty easy. So I'm gonna put the socket on the plug. Let's see if I can get down in there. This is the plug hiding right there. So it's gonna be a little bit of feel, for you guys. Just put the socket on my hand, put the wrench on it, and start cracking it loose. All right, guys, so we got my first plug out, and I had to change from the spark plug socket to a regular 5/8. This socket, for whatever reason, allowed me to get down deeper into there and get on the end of the spark plug. It was in there pretty good. I kind of had to crank down on it a little bit to back it out of there. So I got my first one out, and I'm going to gap the new one and put the new one back in. So on top of my ear cleaner, it tells the spark plug gap, and it says to gap the plugs at 35 thousandths. So that's what I'm going to do. When I ordered the tune-up kit from the dealer, I gave them a engine serial number so they were able to match up everything. Mine still has it on the engine cover, so you should see if yours does too. It makes it a lot easier on the dealerships to find the right parts of your engine. So I got my spark plug gapper right here, and I'm going to gap this to 35 thousandths, which is right there. That's good. Then we're going to put just a tiny bit of never sees on the threads of the spark plug, and that'll help to make it come out easier next time. Sometimes these can get kind of seized in there. The anti-seize will help out, and I'll put a link in the description of the video for this stuff too. We use it quite a bit. So we're gonna do all the plugs this exact same way, one by one, and if I run into anything, I'll let you know. Okay, so I have my first spark plug in, tightened it back up, and here's the old wire right here, kind of traced it around the back of the motor. So I'm just gonna pull it off the distributor, and I'm gonna match it up to one of the new ones I got in the kit. So I have this Quicksilver ignition wire set. This is what I'm using. Okay, so I have my new spark plug wire, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some little dielectric grease in both ends. I'm just gonna do the spark plug in for now, and then when I put the new cap on the rotor, I'm gonna put the dielectric grease on the other end of this. But if you're not changing that stuff out, do both ends and put it in place. So here's a little trick for you guys. When I'm putting these spark plugs in, I'm putting a piece of old gas line on the end of them, and that's allowing me to use the gas line to thread them in, as opposed to using a socket or an extension. It's a little bit easier to find the hole that way. You can twist the spark plug in using the gas line, and then just pull it right off when it's caught, and then you can use your socket, your extension, just to snug it up. You don't want to crank down on these, just a little snug. As you can see, using the line, just kind of twist it in there. All right, I'm good. Now you pull the gas line out. Okay, it's snug. underneath, so wiggle it out, and I can put my new wire on there. You don't have to crank down on these, just snug them. All right, I just finished putting all the plugs in on this side, so don't forget to put your hose back on and your clamp, tighten that up, and then go on to the other side, and it should be the same procedure one by one, and I'm gonna bang that out real quick and let you know if I ran up against anything. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a new distributor cap and a rotor in it. There's 4 screws on this. Use a Phillips or a flathead, and they're going to transfer over the wires to the new cap. I'm going to do them one by one, and I'm going to put them back in the same spot. So on the new cap, I'm going to keep it in the same position, and they are numbered, like 1, 2, 3, and all the way around. So this right here is positioned the same way on this cap, so I'm going to keep it in that position and start transferring the wires over. And put these screws off to the side, make sure you don't lose them. Okay, here's your rotor inside. And I've got a new one right here. Make sure you put it back in the same position. Okay, I have my rotor in place. There's a little notch in there, so make sure it's in the right position. And now start transferring your wires over one by one. And you're going to put a little dielectric grease in them. Alright, I'm going to work my way around and put these all back in order. So when you put your new distributor cap on, you want to make sure that it's flush before you put the screws in. If it seems like it's not going down flush or you have to force it, the rotor inside might not be seated on that shaft all the way. Mine was a little rusty, so I took a wire brush to it, wire brushed it, and then I put a little dielectric grease up into the hole of the new rotor so it would slip on the shaft a little bit easier, and I was able to seat it. And once I did that, I cleaned the shaft up and helped it out a little bit. I could find the notch, seat it into place. Now I'm going to bolt my distributor cap on. It sits nice and flush. It was hanging up before, so it should be all set right now. Okay, so I have my new cap on, have all the wires connected to it, put my new coil wire on, and I came back here and reconnected the hose, put the clamp back on it. That's pretty much it, guys. That's how you change cap, rotor, spark plugs, and wires on a 4.3 Mercruiser. If you have a question, leave a comment. I will reply back to you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.